Hi, everybody, and welcome to a behind the scenes class. This is a class for people that are part of my shopping club, and each month they get a technique class, and I thought I would share it with you so that you could see what we do. So this month we are doing reverse masking. And it's a cute technique, and we're just going to see how that goes. Kathy is asking me in the classroom, are we doing a class with the stamps ready for Christmas? We are. I just set the ones for next month, and I don't remember the date, but we are. I want to say it's the first Tuesday in October. I'd have to look. But yes, we are. Okay, so reverse masking is the opposite. We did some masking earlier in the week, and you can look back and see what that is. Basically, you cover your stamp with a mask, and then you stamp over it. In this case, we're going to make a mask, and we're going to stamp within it. So let me show you. It's easier to show than it is to explain. So the first thing you want to do is pick a shape. And I'm going to start with this heart, and I'm going to do this background postscript stamp. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to get myself a piece of cardstock, just a scrap, and I also want a piece of copy paper, and I'm going to run those through my Big Shot. So let's bring the Big Shot on in, and I can do both of them together because they're really thin and they can go together. And I'm going to use the heart from the Layered Hearts collection. And that isn't really what they're called. I'll put the link in the bottom after because I never remember the names of those thinlits. I use them all the time. You'd think I'd remember their names, but I don't. All right, so Mr. Big Shot, get out of the way. And now we have our two masks. We have one out of copy paper and one out of cardstock. And we're going to grab the front of our card that we're going to do this on. And this is just a piece of white paper because I want to test it so that you can see what it looks like. I'm going to save this. Hold on, camera just died. One sec, let me grab you back. Sorry. There you are. Okay, so move you, and I'm going to use the cardstock one. And I want to make sure that everything stays where I have it put. So I'm going to come down just a little so I can see just a little bit of the top of that. And I'm going to take some washi tape. Let's use a different color so that you can see it. And I'm going to just go across the top and hold. I'm going to cover up that little bit of white, but I'm also going to use it to hold everything in place. All right. And now everything's going to stay smooth. I'm going to take my spritzer, and I'm going to use I'm using it like a stencil, yes, just a drop of my re-inker. And I'm going to use Calypso Coral just because I love it. And it really doesn't take much to create this little mist. A couple of drops in here. You can watch it change color. That's like 3 drops maybe. Okay. And then put this back in. Shake it up. All right, and then I'm going to go above. I'm going to go up high. I'm over the camera. I'm probably about 2 feet off the top of this. And I'm going to spritz down. I want to make sure I don't spritz my camera. And I'm just going to do, here it comes. Okay, so I'm getting that really cool look. All right, yep, this is filled with water. You could also fill it with alcohol. If you want it to dry a little bit faster, you could use rubbing alcohol. And now I'm going to take this off. And now this has to dry before I can go on to the next part. So I'm going to let this dry. I'm also going to take my paper towel. Now, if you think that you're going to get really messy, you could put a paper towel down. You can see I did get some on my surface. All right, so let that dry for a minute. While that's happening, we're going to go on and do the other one so that you can see another option. So we're going to put you over there. We're going to save you. And we're going to bring in Mr. Big Shot again. Now put it on top of the heart. And this time we're going to do the same thing. Another piece of cardstock, another piece of copy paper. And I'm going to use, this is the Thinlit from Grown with Love. It's the little wagon. I like this little wagon anyway. So I'm going to use him. Oops. Missed you on the bottom. All right, and we're going to run him through. Okay. Move you out of the way. So now I have another mask. I have the thin one out of copy paper, and I have this one. And I'm going to take, get out here, a piece of, I'm using the Very Vanilla. This time I'm going to do the same thing. Depends on which way you want your wagon to go. I want it to go like that. And now I didn't necessarily get this in there perfectly straight. So I'm going to make sure that it is straight on that my stencil is straight, even though my paper's not. And that's fine, I can do that. Can move it around. And I'm just going to do this. Now, because the way I have it positioned, this part is going to get spritzed. So I'm going to take my little Post-its and I'm just going to cover that up. Now, had I gone the other way, I probably wouldn't have to worry about it as we did with the heart. But in this case, I can still do it. And Post-it notes are great for this. All right. And I'm going to take some, this is Old Olive in a spritzer. That was just 2 squirts. Now I pick up all my mess. And honestly, I kind of like it like that too. Just it the way it is, I think looks really cool. But, what did I do with my paper towel? I know it's gone forever. Can't be that far. So I use the same thing. I use my ink refill. We'll take my crappy shirt on. I love the heart. I do too. All right, so here's our heart, and that's pretty much dry now. And here's this one. Pretty dry, not bad, but we'll hold on to it for a second. Let's do the heart first. So now we're going to line up this. And this is the reason we're using this is because it's so thin. We don't want to have the stamp get like a big ridge in it. So we're using really thin paper. We're going to line that up the way we want it. Make sure that our heart is exactly where you want it to be. And you're going to bring in your washi. And you kind of want to make the stencil a little bit smaller so that you can get a good seal. Okay, now I'm going to take my background stamp. This is the Postscript. This is a huge stamp. And it needs the big block. And I'm going to use the same Calypso Coral. And I'm just going to put my ink on this way. Now, because this is a really, really big stamp, I want to make sure that I get a good, even pressure. A couple of ways I can do it. I can either pick up, I can put my stamp and press and make sure I get really smooth. I know I am matchy-matchy. Or I can take this and lay it down on top of it. I'm going to go the other way first so that you can see. And I'm just going to press this down and really push. Make sure I get good and smooth, all pressure all over my whole stamp. Okay, looks pretty cool. Now watch. When I take off my mask, look what I got. Whoops. Is that not super cool? Right? Love it. And because it does match, I could cut it out with the Thinlit if I wanted to. It is the right size. So if I wanted to cut this out and pop it up, I could. So simple, but so pretty, right? Okay, so let's do this guy. Let's bring this one in. And now I'm not going to matchy-matchy with this one. All right, you kind of have to talk to it a little to make sure you're lining it up right. This one, I'm going to use the flowers. I'll show you what I mean. From the Woodwords. It's one of my, I use this stamp a lot. It's one of my favorites. And again, it's just a question of getting this on there so it doesn't go anywhere. And I'm going to grab, where's Woodwords? This one. It's this one. I love the stamp set. I seriously use this on way more things than I ever use the rest of the stamps in there. I use this one a lot. That's not big enough. I need it bigger. Here it is. Need this block. Now I can do the green, which would look really cool. But let's be brave and do something different. I am a matchy-matchy person. Let's do some Island Indigo and see what that looks like. Kind of bright, but let's see what it does. Hey, Rosemarie, Shelley, welcome, ladies. And I'm going to ink this up. All right. And now I'm just going to go right down over my mask. Good solid pressure. Don't be in a rush. And let's take this off. Look what we get. Isn't that cute? Reverse masking. Love it. And you could, if you wanted to, you could go back and cut this out if you wanted again to pop, because it matches your Thinlit. All right. All right, let's do, we have time for one more. This one is from the Best Birds. And as I'm bringing this out, I'm hoping this is still a oh gosh, if this is one that's retired, I'm going to be mad. I didn't check it. Does anybody know? I'll have to throw it away. I think it is still. And I like this one because it has this really great pattern background. So we're going to use that. I know, isn't it cool, Kathy? I knew you'd like it. And I need a couple more pieces. So I need my copy paper. And I need just a piece of cardstock. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use the white. No, I'm not. I'm going to use the, oh, thank you. I usually check that, and I think I have everything that's not still available put away. And just when I do, it catches me up. All right, so let's bring you in. And this time, we're just going to use one of our shape Thinlits, just this one. because it's going to give us a different look. And we're going to put this on in. And now, let's get you through. Stop talking for a second. Okay, so here's our masks, our copy paper, and our cardstock. And we're going to put this on here. Cardstock first. I love that bird. I really do. Cardstock first. Now, you remember I used washi tape. You don't have to. If everything's laying down nice and smooth, you can just get away with it and just go quick. You can do that. Let's go with the Calypso Coral again. And again, I am about a foot to a foot and a half off my, I'm going to put this down because I can't find my paper towel, off my surface. Now, if you're in a big rush and you want it to dry, you can always use your heat gun. Would it look okay if you use the shape Thinlit and then put another stamp inside it? So like if I left this and stamped it now, is that what you mean? What would happen is this is thicker, so you're going to get kind of an outline where the stamp doesn't hit right at the very edge. That's the only reason you're going with a thinner one. So yes, it would, but it wouldn't look quite as seamless as these guys do. You can see there's kind of a space, but the stamp goes pretty close to the edge because we're using thin paper. So let's do this, and let's do this with, I'm just going to hold this in place for a sec. Let's do this with like a gray, instead of being all matchy here. So I'm going to grab this, and we're going to grab, oh, how about crumb cake? Crumb cakes right here. All right, same idea. This is just plain white copy paper. Yep. So you do them and you run them through your Big Shot together. And I'm not going to peel this off. I'm just going to let you see what we got. So we got that. Looks pretty cool. But let's take another layer. Let's take a sentiment that hopefully is going to fit inside there. So let's see what we've got. And it's a good day one. It is. Whoops, I wanted you to stay there. I didn't want you to move. Which it doesn't really matter. I could take it off. I'm not really using that, but it's kind of a nice idea to keep it there. And I'm going to go with some early espresso. So I really have 3 layers going on here. And I'm going to do It's a Good Day in the middle. But I could still do other things. I could still stamp where some of it's on there and some of it's not. What about this branch? And I'm going to ink him up with the same, only this time I'm going to go like this. Okay? All right, so let's see what we've got. We kind of just made a collage. But look what you end up with. Isn't that neat? Now you can see this moved on me, so I'm not right at the edge like I wanted to be, but I'm still okay. And it's really different. It's really unique. Reverse masking. All right. Now you don't have to do the spritzing. You could do something else. You could, let's say we're doing this. What if I grabbed my sponge and I did a sponge technique on it? and get that look. So the idea of the mask is that it's going to give you a unique all over. You could watercolor it. You know, get different looks, right? No, this is the cardstock that we created on. It's just Whisper White, and that's very vanilla, right? Super cool. And let's zoom in so that you can see the detail here. That's our very vanilla one. Goodness, I need to stop shaking. I'll put this down. And when you zoom in like that, you can't even like breathe. Doesn't that look neat? I love the detail. Super zoomed. Okay, so there's that one. This is our last one. So different. And then this is the heart with the postscript, which I love. I do too. The heart's my favorite. Oh, hi, Elena. How are you? I didn't see you come in. Right? All right, everybody. Well, thanks for coming. Shoppers, the next host is, oh, shoot. Is it Sharon? I forget who it is. And if you are thinking that you like this idea of the Shoppers Club, remember how this works. You agree to purchase. There's 6 of you in the club, and each month a different one of you takes a turn being the hostess and getting the hostess rewards from your party. And each of you agrees to place at least a $35 a month order. And that way there are rewards. And then by the 20th, yep. So you've got till the 20th of October. I try and open it a little bit sooner. So we have one club going right now with 6 people in it. And everybody, it is, Rosemary. I offered this last month. So right now that one's full, and I have one other person who's interested in joining the club. You can clearly order other things, that you're not limited to that, but it lets you get rewards when you might not necessarily do that. You just have to commit to doing it so that everybody gets to rotate through. Another option, and Robin has done this for herself, is she thinks, well, you know, I'm going to place an order at the end of September, and I'm going to place an order at the beginning, you know, sometime within 30 days, I'm going to place 2 orders that would come to $300 or $400, whatever it's going to be. More than if I were just going to place more than $150. But if you were just going to place one order, you're not going to have enough by yourself. So what I've been doing for her, and I'm happy to do it for other people, is to set you up with a host code, your own. And when you place an order, you place your orders using your host code. Now you have to remember to do it within the 30 days in order to get the benefits. And it's not going to work if you weren't planning on doing that. So if you were planning on placing more than one order that would equal $150 so your timing is such that you just can't do it all at one time, then just talk to me. Let me know, and I will make sure that you can. It's my job to help you get the best and the most free stuff I can find for you. So if that's something you're thinking about, be sure and let me know. What's cool about that is even though you're placing your orders within your 30 days, you get the first order, you get right away. It doesn't have to wait until you're done. So that's really cool. Robin did it because, remember, in September and October, if you place $300, you are eligible for this stamp set. the Mary Patterns stamp set. So you get this free, in addition to the Hostess stuff. So there is some really cool deals going on. And I know, poor Rosemary, there's so many. I tell you every time, it's like eating at Pizza Hut. There's 17 different options, and we just make you crazy. So if you aren't sure, before you're going to place an order, drop me a note and say, hey, is there a deal I can get in on? My order is this much. What can I do? Okay? And I'm more than happy to help you get the biggest bang for your buck. All right, everybody. Have a great night and a great weekend. This deal is through the end of October. Okay? No, it would have, if we had put it through as one party for you, it would have. Yes. It's not through me, it's through Stampin' Up. Okay? So it's not something I can add them together and do it. Although if I may have a couple of these that I can raffle off. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with them yet. We'll talk soon. All right, you guys, have a great weekend. I will see you all soon. Remember, Cricut starts next week if you're looking for those too.